any hands-on in any of the cloud technology?
AWS, I mean, I have some theoretical knowledge on this S3 object storage and EC2 instances, creating the EC2 instances. I mean, for my personal use, I have done some exploration on those, but I did not use it in my project.
Okay.
Yeah. And also currently we are migrating this. Currently this is in monolithic application, and we are migrating this application to microservices architect as well.
So earlier, did you work on microservices architecture anytime?
Yeah, my current project is a microservices architecture actually. Only in this project I'm using the microservices architect.
And did you get any hands-on in PCF?
Pivotal Cloud Foundry. I mean, yeah, we were using some of the Spring Cloud libraries. Like for discovery client is there, right? For discovery server, service discovery, we are using this Eureka, Spring Cloud Eureka. And also for load balancing, we were using this ribbon, Spring Cloud ribbon we are using.
Oh, okay. We'll go to Spring Cloud in some time.
Yeah.
Any exposure in Docker, Kubernetes?
No, I don't have.
And NoSQL databases?
Yeah, MongoDB. Yeah, currently I'm working on the MongoDB only. Yeah, our project is using Mongo.
So how different is it from relational databases?
So NoSQL means we don't have any relationships between two collections. Here, I mean, in Oracle, whereas we have this primary key and foreign key relationship between two tables, so that we can using one ID from the one table, and we can query it from using the foreign key. We can query it from the other tables. But here we don't have any relationships here in the MongoDB. And also there we write SQL queries, and here we use JSON format to query the data.
And so, I mean, what is the benefit that you're going to get when you eliminate your relational database and plug in a NoSQL database into your application? Is there still a need of relational database?
Yeah, I mean, so let's say if the application is of some type of like in future they are going to add new fields and structure, we are not sure about the structure of that table. So, and in future we may need to add some of the fields or remove some of the fields. So in that case we need to go for the NoSQL database. And whereas in tables, Oracle, if we are very sure about the structure of that table, I mean, then we can go for the relational databases and the data.
So,
yeah.
Do you add any performance metrics to if you use one of them?
I mean, so we were using indexes. We are using indexes for all the collections.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you use NoSQL instead of the other, do you add up any performance in that case?
Okay, performance wise, is it helpful to go for a NoSQL database? Is it?
Yeah, and only if your data supports by the. So
I'm not sure.
Let's say you have the data that is more relevant to NoSQL database than a relational database, but even in that case, will using relational database decrease your performance, or NoSQL increases it, or it is neutral?
I'm not very sure about that.
Okay. Yeah. Any involvement in CI/CD?
Yeah, we are using Jenkins for building and deployment. Jenkins and Spring Cloud for the deployment actually. Whenever we deploy it, right? So whenever we commit after the PR is merged, right? So we will take the build in the Jenkins, and then that build we will deploy it in using the Spring Cloud into QA or UAT. So the DevOps team will create these pipelines like QA, UAT pipeline and production pipeline. So, but we don't have access to production pipeline, but we will have access to QA and UAT, DI2 and QA and UAT. Yeah. So using these pipelines we can deploy.
And did you work on any event processing technologies?
Kafka.
Okay, you said Kafka. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you a publisher or a consumer?
Yeah, both actually. So basically, whenever we insert or update any data into the MongoDB, right? So we extract and push it into one topic, okay? And this activity loader and search loader, these two are the subscribers for dot. Yeah, so activity loader. Yeah.
What was the achievement there? Like once you push them into Kafka and redirect it to consumers, what will they actually do with that data?
Again, same thing. It will consume the message and it will index it into the Elasticsearch.
Okay. So how do you index data, by the way, in Elastic?
Sorry.
How do you index data in Elastic?
Yeah, we use Elastic library is there. I mean, so we are using the JSON format only to store it into the Elastic. Okay. So basically, we will create an index for every collection.
The Elastic you use, right?
Yes.
Is it managed by you? I mean, your team, or it is provided by a third party?
No, it is managed by our team only. Yeah. Managed by Apple only.
So you host the service? Okay, your client hosts the service?
Yes.
Okay. Or just your project team?
No. It's a client only. Yeah, client only. Client only will manage. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And for Kafka, right?
Yeah.
In your microservices, how do you put the implementation? What do you use? Is it Spring Kafka or okay? Even the Kafka, right?
Yeah.
Is it Apache Kafka?
Yeah, it is
or
Apache Kafka.
Confluent or?
It is Apache Kafka. Yeah.
Okay. And who hosts the nodes?
Yeah, Apple only.
And it is common across the teams, is it?
Yes, it is common across the team. Yes.
Okay. How about unit testing?
I worked on JUnit. Yeah.
Okay. And how good are you with relational databases, like querying or other functions or stuff?
Yeah. So earlier, my previous project is on, all the projects were on relational databases only. Only this project currently, what I am working on, this is MongoDB.
Okay, so will you be able to write complex queries or triggers or procedures?
Procedures, I need to revise actually. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any UI exposure?
No, not. So for my own personal use, I have learned this Angular, right? But with that, I did not have a hands-on on that. For my personal use, I used it, but I did not have any hands-on in any project. Yeah.
Okay. Did you use Spring Cloud?
Yeah, Spring Cloud we are using for Ribbon, and Spring Cloud Eureka we are using, and also for Jipkin and Sleuth also we are using Spring Cloud Sleuth and Spring Cloud Jipkin. Yeah.
And how about gateways?
We were using Joule, Spring Cloud, Netflix Joule gateway. And
so, what is the difference between a gateway and a service discovery?
Gateway, so it accepts requests from the clients actually. Okay. And service discovery is in between microservices. So to communicate with other microservices from one microservice.
Okay. So. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, actually, power. There was a power cut. I connected to my mobile network. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Got it. No problem. So I was asking about service discovery.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, service discovery. So
what is the purpose of service discovery?
Yeah, let's say instead of hard coding, let's say in microservices architecture. So the DevOps team.
Hello.
Based on hello.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, you are able to hear?
Yes, now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, service discovery. Let's say in microservices architecture, right? So, based on the load, we will create multiple instances of we will deploy it in as a multiple instances, right? So, and the port is not port will be dynamic in this case. So we cannot strict around only one port. So based on the load, we will deploy it multiple instances. Okay. So in that case, to hardcode that port, it will be difficult. So using Eureka, if we enable the Eureka client in all the microservices, so and we run Eureka server in one microservice, so all all the microservices will register them into this Eureka server. So whenever we call using that microservice name itself, so it will directly get one of the instance from that Eureka, and then call that microservice. And also we are using ribbon here, so it will be like a round robin fashion, right? So for one request, if it goes to one instance, then for the second request it will go to the next instance, like that. It will be in round robin fashion.
So this ribbon configuration will be done in your client side, right? Client application that is going to call the server.
Yes.
Or I mean, let's consider the other service which you are calling is a server.
Yeah.
And you are calling, so you are a client.
Yeah.
So now ribbon is configured at client side.
Yes.
So how will it accommodate the requests and load balancing? Because load balancing should be happening on the server, right?
Yeah, so we are using this load balanced REST template. Yeah, it will based on okay. Actually, Eureka will pick that microservice, right? To which one it should call. So it has internally configured with Ribbon, right? Eureka is internally configured with Ribbon.
Okay, but I mean, my question is, your nodes of server are at server, and you are configuring Ribbon at the client.
Yes.
So your request is initialized, and Ribbon chooses which node, but nodes are not at your end, right? Nodes are at the server end.
Yes.
How will Ribbon choose the nodes? Which node it should send this request to?
Yeah, maybe the Eureka server has this configuration to remember which has it called previously, and then it will pick the new instance. Not sure. Just my guess.
Okay. So what do we need gateways for?
Gateways for accepting the request from client actually. Let's say from UI, and also all the central security configuration we can write it over there in the API gateways, so that we cannot, so that the security configuration cannot be duplicated for every microservice.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have much knowledge on that gateways.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is Sleuth and Jipkins?
It will create one trace ID for every request. Trace ID and span ID. Span ID for every request, and trace ID for every request and span ID for each microservice, each service. So using this, we can, let's say if something has happened, let's say to debug that, so we can use this trace ID and span ID to easily debug the logs.
Okay. Yeah. So at load balancer annotation, right?
Yes.
How does it work?
We'll pick the new instance. Ribbon will be configured for that. And based on that, it will pick the new instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
What Java version are you using right now?
Java 8.
Okay, and what features of 8 have you implemented?
We were using this lambda expressions for wherever is applicable, and also we were using streams concepts.
Okay.
We were using this in streams. We have filter, map, min, max. These we have used.
Okay. So what is the default method?
Default method. So let's say there is one interface, and some 100 classes are implementing that interface. Let's say in future, if you wanted to add one method into that interface, so all the child classes has to implement that method. Okay. So if we don't want that, so all the child classes will be impacted due to that. So in that case, if it is a choice to implement or not implement that method, then we can go for the default method, which is in Java 8, so that the child class may or may not implement that method. It will not throw any exception. Compiler error.
Did we not have default methods earlier?
Default methods? No, this is introduced in Java 8.
Okay. Okay, so let's consider there are two interfaces.
Okay.
With the same method, default method.
Same default method. Okay.
Yeah, let's say something like print hello.
Yeah.
Is a method.
Okay.
And one interface has an implementation to print just hello, and the other has hello world.
Okay.
So the implementation is different, but methods are same.
Okay.
In two different interfaces.
Yeah. Okay.
And now you are implementing these two interfaces inside a class.
Okay.
Can you call the parent print method?
Okay. Two interfaces we are implementing with the same method name. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure which method it will call.
So what if they are not default methods? They are not default methods, but you should be implementing them in your class.
I think we get compiler error there because the same method is available in two interfaces. So there is a ambiguity there. So to which one it should implement?
Okay. In Springboot, right? We have at Springboot application annotation.
Yeah.
What does it really do?
This is equals to the three annotations at enable auto configuration and at configuration and at component scan. So it will do these three functionalities using this at one with one annotation. All these three functionalities.
Okay. So
and it's also
what is that configuration? What does it do?
At enable auto configuration.
Both enable auto configuration and at configuration.
Yeah, at configuration means so we are telling the Spring to Spring that it can act as a configuration class where we can have bean methods implemented there. So we can return the beans there. Okay, and at enable auto configuration means Springboot by default has this auto configuration feature. So it will enable all the auto configuration classes around the application. So if you don't want that, then we can exclude them using the exclude attribute in that enable auto configuration, and we can mention that auto configuration class there.
So what is the difference between at configuration and at configuration properties?
Configuration properties, it will read the properties from the properties file or YAML file, and then it will load that properties file into that environment.
Okay. What is component scan?
It will make all the eligible beans. Will create all the beans. So from that package structure, so whatever the classes it has seen, like at controller and everything, it will create all the beans.
So what is the difference between these two annotations, at component and at bean?
Yeah, both are same only. At bean, at component scan, it will search around all the packages and it will create the beans. And at bean means only for that class it will create that bean where we have this annotation there.
Okay. Did you implement any transaction handling in your application?
Transaction no.
No. Okay. So what do you call it? What ORM tool do you use to connect your database?
Yeah, we are using JPA, Springboot, Spring JPA we are using.
Okay. Did you use serialization anywhere? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, serialize. So if you wanted to make one object data to be preserved into a file, okay, so then we use this serialization. Physical file. Then we can use this serialization to serialize that data.
Okay. So in microservices, in general, we transfer different kinds of payload, right?
Yes.
And at receiver and at the sender.
Yeah.
Initially, they are Java objects.
Yes.
In transit, they are JSON.
Yes.
Or at least the data stream.
Yeah.
Then again, you receive it as JSON or something, and then you convert it into your object.
Yes.
Java type.
Yes.
So how do you convert your string or JSON into an object?
REST template, let's say get for object, if you use that method, right? So we can give that class name. I mean, if we are receiving, let's say, some person object data, okay, then we can give that class name there, so that it will deserialize into that class, that Pojo class.
Right, meaning it is using serialization.
Yeah, it is
also,
using
right?
serialization. Yeah.
So, what is the use of serialization here? Because serialization is what? Changing the object into byte string.
Some other form. Yes.
So, are we really doing that thing here in API calls?
It internally that REST template, it will do that. Serialization and deserialization. Yes.
So, do you need to put any specific code in your Pojo class?
It has to implement the serializable marker interface. Yes.
Okay, what is the marker interface?
Marker interface, it doesn't have any methods, but during the runtime, the JVM will add that extra feature to be, if it is serializable, then it will add that extra feature.
So, do you know any other interfaces that are marker interfaces?
Marker interfaces, there is one more. Clonable. That is also marker interface. And
so if I call any object.clone, will it not work without implementing clonable?
No, it will not work.
Object has clone method, right? Object class.
It has clone method, but we need to, that class has to implement this clonable interface. So then only that JVM will add that extra feature to be able to clone that object.
So let's say I have a custom class and I didn't implement clonable, but I am calling that object.clone. What happens?
So we will get this exception, clone not supported exception, something compiler error. It will be.
Okay. Why would there be a compiler error?
Sorry. This is a runtime exception. During the runtime it will give that exception.
Can you brief exception hierarchy?
Throwable is a main parent class for all these error exception classes, and under that we have the exception and error. Okay, and in the exception we have this runtime exception and runtime exceptions, and under runtime exception we have null pointer exception. We all have this we have all these runtime exception classes.
What is the difference between checked and unchecked exceptions?
Checked exceptions or checked at it will validate at the time of compile time. Java will validate at the time of compile time. But unchecked exception, these are runtime exceptions. We'll get at the time of run. Let's say
what is a custom exception?
Sorry.
What is a custom exception?
If we wanted to implement one exception, let's say if user is not found in the database, so if you wanted to throw one exception like user not found exception, so then we can implement this exception by implementing from the exception class, by extending from the exception class, and then we can override those methods.
So what specific methods do we override if we want a custom exception?
Exception, no, I don't remember actually.
So when you throw an exception or a specific custom exception, how do you throw it?
Using the throw keyword, we can raise that exception. Let's say throw new user not found exception.
So you are creating an object for that type.
Yes. And we will give some message.
Is your constructor enough, or do you still need to override any methods?
I think the constructor is enough. Like it will take message and that is enough, I guess. Constructor is enough.
Okay. Okay. So how many ways can you create an object?
Using the new keyword we can create an object. Using clone we can create an object. I remember only
Did
these two.
you use JDBC anytime?
Yeah, we have used.
So how do you register your driver class?
Using the driver manage. Class. This new instance. What is this class? Using the new instance method, we can also create a object. This is in class.
Okay. So is class a class or keyword?
Class is a class. Yeah, it's a capital C and LASS. It's a class actually, and small c class is this is a keyword.
So why do we need keywords in Java?
Yeah, because to let the compiler understand this has some meaning in Java. Like let's say if we use let's say int. So using that it will create one integer object. Integer. It will based on that data type. It will allocate some memory into the JVM and then store that store that value. So that's why it needs some syntaxes like keywords to let understand that it has some meaning. For that Java.
Okay, can you just share your screen? I'll let you write a program.
Sure. So you're able to see?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I can see. Before we go to write a program, what is a singleton class?
Singleton class. So at any point of time, only one instance of that. It will have only one object in the JVM for that class.
Okay. So did you use singleton classes anywhere?
We have used it for the logger because we don't need to create multiple objects of that logger class. Okay. So we can have the singleton object created for that. Then only the same object we can use everywhere because it doesn't have to store any data in that object, right?
Okay. So what happens if you have many classes and many classes are putting a lot of logs simultaneously? So like you have 5 or 10 classes. Everywhere you have plugged in this logger, and all classes have different functionalities being triggered, and they are serving all the purpose, but they are also logging a lot of data simultaneously.
Okay.
So will your logger still work?
That will work.
Will it be efficient enough? So let's say at the same moment 5 classes are triggering some log.
Okay.
What happens? Which one will it take first? Or will it wait for one to complete the other? Okay, so this is something like concurrency, right? Your logger class is only one, and the utilization classes are a lot. All trying to print logs in their processes. And at the same moment, if multiple classes are calling logger.log, how will the priority be? Will it work efficiently? Will it print all the logs? Will it wait for one to complete and then go for the other request? Or if that is the case, will your execution of method stop until the other log is getting executed or printed?
Okay. No, it will not wait for that to print. I think it has some mechanism to print one by one.
Okay, leave it there. How do you construct a custom singleton object?
So first we will make the constructor as private so that
you can put it down in your notes.
Okay. Let's say class logger is there. Let's say if you wanted to make this as singleton, we need to make that constructor as private. And we can provide one static method.
So what is a static method in general?
Static method means we can using the class, we can class name itself we can call the methods. We don't need to create an object for this to call the method.
Okay. What is an immutable class?
Immutable class, each time it will return a different object.
Okay, examples.
Like string class.
Okay. So, I mean, what are the properties of an immutable object? So, why do we need immutable objects in Java?
Not sure. I did not work around this.
Okay. Okay, write a program for sorting a list of employee objects.
Sorting a list of employee objects. Okay. Yeah, let's say we have employee 1. Okay. Let's say employee has some properties. So based on which property we need to sort?
Let's say employee name and employee salary. Both.
Okay. Let's say these are stored in hash set. Okay. So if the names are equal, then we are sorting it by salary.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, that looks good.
Okay.
Okay. Did you work on concurrency anytime?
Concurrency, yeah, we have used the concurrent collections.
Okay. So, let's say I am doing a read and write operation on a collection. Like, let's say a list of strings, and I am looping and then checking for a condition.
Okay.
And trying to remove that element.
Okay.
So, with which list can I achieve this?
Okay, so at the same time, we are adding some elements and removing some elements, is it?
No, we are looping a collection. Okay. And inside the loop, we are checking for a condition.
Yeah, okay.
The condition is met, we want to remove that element.
We can use a list iterator for this. So because list iterator supports removing of the elements as well, whereas normal iterator supports only adding the elements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the difference when you do it on the actual collection versus on the iterator? So when you say your collection or iterator, will it create a copy of?
In the normal collections it will not create, but in the concurrent collections it will create so any update operation it will create a copy of that and then update it and then replace it to the main collection. Whereas this is in concurrent.
If you do multiple write operations, will it create those many copies?
No, writing will be at a time only one. It's a synchronized. Writing is a synchronized operation. So at a time only one thread can perform that operation. So it will wait there until it gets the lock of that object and then it will perform that.
Okay, what is the difference between fail fast and fail safe iterators?
Fail fast iterators, let's say if multiple threads are updating, okay, so then we will get that concurrent modification exception. But whereas in concurrent collection we will not get this concurrent modification exception. So these are fail safe iterators.
Did you use APG gateway anywhere?
APG, no, I did not use, but we are using Joule, Netflix
Okay.
Joule, yeah.
And how good are you with threads? Did you work on multi-threading?
I worked on
How about
generate 6
executor
out.
frameworks?
Sorry.
How about executor frameworks?
We were using executor framework. It's introduced in 1.7, I guess, executor framework. So instead of the runnable interface, we use callable interface here, and it will have call method. We need to override and implement that our logic there, and whereas in run method it will not return any value. Okay, but in call method it will return object, and that can be stored in the future object, and then we can get that object from that future whenever that is completed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So I am done. You have any questions before we close? I am done. You have any questions before we close?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.